And we are live. Yay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to So Get This. And I am so excited to present my special guest, Miss Lisa Berry. Hey.
Hello, Supernatural family.
How are you?
I'm doing so good.
My special. It is so good to see you. Oh, God. So, wow. Season finale.
Wow, right?
We were so stoked to see you strut in. It was
that was a lot of fun.
I don't know if you pay attention to like any of the live tweeting or anything that goes on, but I do it religiously just because it's, not that I think anybody reads it, but I think it's fun. And as soon as you walked in, I read, now it's a party. I was so excited.
That was a lot of fun.
So why don't you can you summarize in 3 words to describe Billy?
Serious. Badass.
Oh, totally.
And genuine.
I'm sorry?
Genuine.
Genuine. Yeah, that's true.
I don't see her as a villain. I just think she's just committed to what she wants, and she's genuine in her. But I think she's badass, and I think she's serious.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the way a lot of the fans perceive her too. She doesn't sugarcoat anything, and she's very direct, forward, and she's not a bad character. She is who she is, and she's not apologetic for it.
Yeah, I think it's the unapologetic. Let's change it to unapologetic.
There we go.
Badass, serious, unapologetic.
There we go. I'm writing these down. Badass.
Yeah, that actually really sums it up quite well. Quite well.
Awesome. Oh, we've got some people in the chat room. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Raven.
Hey, Nicole. Hey, Raven.
And I had a really special day today. One of my friends, Mishi, who's a huge Supernatural fan, had come. She's doing a road trip as we speak, and she stopped here this morning to spend some time with me, and she had a question for you, actually. And today's her birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
She basically just says, "What's the deal with Crowley?"
I didn't ask that question. Like when we were filming, I'm like, "What's happening here? What's happening? What's happening?"
Oh, you look frozen.
Hear me?
Now I can hear you. It's still kind of frozen. I'm sorry.
I
think. No, you're still frozen. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you and see you really.
Now it's better. Now you're better. Okay.
Now you're frozen.
Now I'm frozen. Yeah.
Murphy's Law.
Let it go.
Oh, look at that. I wrote, "I hate everybody" in the little comment box. Now we're back on.
Okay.
Now we're back on.
Great. Okay. So now we've seen Billy in 4 episodes, and we've seen a lot of different layers, like what we were just talking about. So what's her backstory?
It's so funny. When I got cast on the show, I was at season 8 of like a rewatch of the series. And then after that, after I got the role and after I found out who the character I was going to be playing was and what she was all about, I was like, this is actually really helpful because I would have a visceral knowledge of their journey, like really clearly. So it was really great to come in and have that fresh in my mind because I was on, season 8 or something like that of rewatching the series. Mm-hmm. And so I just felt like, oh, wow, this is really cool. So I was able to build my backstory off of, I've always seen I see Billy as someone who's always kind of like an invisible entity and death was around. like kind of like when God can't see him, you can't see him if you want to see him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I kind of made Billy this invisible force that's always been there, who's seen everything, who knows everything, and could never say anything, could never do anything. And now she's at the forefront of, well, because you killed Death, you can see me now, and you can now deal with me. This would never happen. It was never supposed to happen. It's never happened in a millennia on this planet. You know what I mean? And now they have to face the real consequences of being the Winchesters and what that means, which is we die, we come back, we die, we come back. And that completely offsets the balance of nature. And this world looks and feels so different because they've done that. And I feel I've always had a really strong impulse to be like, it needs to, because, and Death has always kind of been the one who's like, calm down, it'll make sense in the end. So it's one of those things where, when somebody probably had a bigger picture, mm-hmm. and then they leave and you never had that bigger picture. So you're just going with the way that things should be. You know what I mean? That's who I feel Billy is. So if Death had a bigger picture, why he was letting all of those deaths go by, I was not privy to it. So the rules change when I come into play because he wasn't following them. And I don't know why.
So now what do you think what's the next step for Billy? Do you think that she's going to fill Death's shoes?
I don't know if Death's shoes can be filled, to be totally honest. And I love him as Death, and I'm secretly hoping that they do some kind of like flashback scene where I get to work with him. But that's just Lisa Berry talking. But also I think it'd be, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Billy's Death. I don't know why. I don't think Billy's Death. And I don't even necessarily think she wants that job. That because there are some people in life who are like, I like the chorus. I like being behind the scenes. I like, you know what I mean? Like there are people who really truly, I feel like this is power being thrust upon her.
Right.
And she never wanted it. So that's why I've always seen her. So if she is the new Death, it's Death. I don't know if this is even what I wanted. But then the writers could do something completely different, and this could be like her secret mission, and she's always wanted to be Death.
Right. That would be interesting. I think a lot of fans would be extremely excited to see Billy as Death. Death.
I get that a lot. A lot of people are just like, are you in Death? I was like, I don't think so, but it's supernatural. You never know.
That's true. They always keep you guessing. Always.
Yeah.
We have a question from the lovely Destiny Whitaker, and I know Destiny very well. She is a very talented young woman. She's a musician.
Yes, she sent me a message a while back, and I sent her a message saying I have to get back to you, but I was traveling across the country, so I was like, I can't sit down and formulate an email. So know that I have totally gotten your email, and I'm literally working on giving you a wonderful, beautiful reply that has detail and information and all of that good stuff. I've just literally, usually I'm not so indisposed, but this week happened to be one of those times, but I will get back to her.
Awesome.
So what is her question now?
Her question is, do you believe that Billy wants Sam and or Dean dead?
Yes, when they die. I don't think she's trying to kill them. I think when they die, she definitely wants them to stay dead.
That she made that evidently clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the words out of her own mouth.
Exactly.
I was there when she said it. But I was there when she said it, and I think she meant it. I think she ultimately meant it. She wants them to keep the order of everything, which means when they go, they go.
Yeah, she had a little conviction in her voice when she said that, I believe.
Yeah, she was strict. She was serious.
She was not joking.
No.
And there's another young, lovely lady, her sister, Raven, who has a question. what is it like to portray a character like Billy? I personally love the character. She, to me, is a different type of female character that we rarely see on television.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Thank you. It's amazing. Like they know on set, because I get there and I'm like a mess. And like every time they do rehearsal, I mess up my lines because like I'll take it, like there's always just some part of me that's just like, oh my God, I'm in the bunker. Oh my God. Like, cause it's always a new set that I haven't seen yet. So I lose my lines because I get completely nervous and I turn into a giggling fangirl. And Jensen's so great because he's like, that's so cute. And I'm just like, Jensen just talked to me. Meanwhile, I'm about to go and do a scene, but it's like there's a part of me that feels like, wow, I feel like a fan who like won a role on the on their TV show, and they kept me, which is really, really cool. So it's awesome. It's a wonderful thing, and I love playing her, and I love that they just let me be me, and I love that, you know, that's what they cast, that's what they hired, because the role was initially I'd read for a guest star role as a witch in the season earlier, and then I didn't get it, and Jensen was who I was auditioning for with that. And then a couple of weeks later, they called me up and said, there's actually another role that we'd like to offer you. And it's this role, Billy. And I was like, okay. I was just saying yes all the way, because I was like, you don't say no. I don't even know what the part is. And I'm just like, yep, I'm on board. And then they said I got to sing, and I was like, oh my God. And then when they told me who the character was, I was like, wow. And it was so interesting because in my career, everybody was just like, nobody could pin how old I was. And I've got a deeper voice and I'm tall. So everybody was kind of like, what do we do? What do we do? And then here comes Supernatural going, we need you to be a nondescript kind of age. And we need you to have like stature. It was kind of like all of the things that everybody was saying, because of this, you don't fit. And Supernatural's like, we'll take you. And that felt really cool because they didn't need me to be anything other than myself. And that was just awesome.
So this role was pretty much literally meant for you.
Like, it feels like it. It feels like it. And like the way that when I've talked with the creators and been on set, they're just like, well, you brought something in the room and we just knew we wanted to use you in the show in some way. And then they were just like, and hopefully the scene works. And if it does, then we'll continue to see what we can do. And then it's been a wonderful ride. So it worked. Their plan worked, and I'm really happy that it did.
We all are. We have another question in the audience. Eilish. Hi, Eilish.
Hi.
She's saying, I'm sorry, I'm so blind. Do you think that Sam and Dean will be able to find a way to come back from the dead once they die next? Because we all know that will happen at some point. Well, actually, yeah, you answered that a little while ago, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they do, then that's a whole new plot twist. And I think it'll be for a very good reason. You know, like anytime they do come back, it's always for a really great reason. It's never just because they wanted to live or, you know, they were being anything other than like saving the world kind of guys. But if they do croak, I don't know. I'd probably say that might be the last of the season. Like I couldn't imagine them killing them and them killing them for good, and then letting it go on. Like, how do you? But I would love to see the empty explored.
That is something I wanted to ask you about too. I mean, I would love to see what is the empty.
I'd love to see what that is too. What does it look like? Because I mean, it just makes me think there's totally room for them to explore what that is, like they did with Purgatory.
Right. I mean, the possibilities are endless. What they could do with that. So when Billy first alluded to it, I hadn't stopped thinking that would be an epic thing to show.
Like, that'd be so epic. I'm like, if they do die, I really want them to go into the empty, and I want to see what that is.
Yes.
And because hey. How you doing? your hair is so long now.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you, your hair was up to here. Growing like a weed. Growing.
Up here too. It's scaring me.
Hey, Mom.
What?
Sounds Raven.
Yes, that's my friend Destiny and her sister Raven.
Oh, yes. They're sisters.
They're sisters. Okay, let Lisa speak. I totally got off my train of thought.
That's okay. I think we were at the empty, and that was it. That was it. We think we should totally see what the empty looks like, and we should explore that a little more. Yes. Yeah. I'm wondering, they just have to work it into the script somehow. That's too big to just brush away. Well, and it's just such a huge threat that I'd love to see. And and it's kind of funny because nobody's explored the empty before. So I feel like if the Winchesters were to get thrown into the empty, if anybody could find a way, because everything seems to have like a yin and a yang, So every lock has a key, every wall has a door. So I feel like there's so much to be explored with the empty. But I mean, they left it that they could do whatever they want. Oh, that's epic. That is very exciting.
Bye.
Bye.
Now that you've gone and disrupted my brain, I love you. What do you find to be your biggest challenge in playing Billy?
Being a fan of the show.
I don't know if I could do it.
It really is. Like there are times where I just go blank because I'm just like, I can't believe I'm here. And thank God they've given me a rehearsal. But I get that one out. And then I just get right. Like, I've never been more focused as an actor because, I mean, I've been watching these guys for like almost 20 years of my life. Like, these are actors who I've always been like, oh man, it'd be so cool if I could work with them. I love the show. And I like in my head, you sit and you watch a TV show and you're just like, I feel like I'd be really fun on that show. I feel like we'd be friends. I feel like it could work and it would be so great. And then you show up and you're like, oh my God, it's like happening. So... and that just takes me a minute to get over is the fact that you're like, hey, Jensen, do you mind if I sit here? Absolutely. In the last day of filming the finale, I went up to all of the cast individually and I said, do you mind if I get a photo with you? And when I first asked, I'd asked Jensen and I was like, can I ask you a question? He's like, yes. And I was like, you don't even know what I'm going to ask. And then him and Misha were kind of like, it's probably still gonna be yes. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, can I take a photo with can I get like a group photo? And then he was like, oh yeah, oh my God, absolutely. And I was just like, oh my God, I get a photo. And so it was like to have like Rob and Misha and Mark and Ruth and like all in one. I was like, stop it. And so then I was like, okay, if season 11 is all I get, I'm a happy camper because I got everything I wanted out of it.
What?
Photo ops and all.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like one of me or my friends at a convention, basically.
No, really. And I went to the Pasadena convention with Ruth, right? And that was already like, oh my God, like. The gods are shining on me right now. This is so amazing. I'm literally backstage as like Mark Shepard's about to go up and play drums. I'm like, what's happening? So I'm just taking it all in stride. Yeah, I'm just taking it all in stride.
Well, yeah, I could tell. You're internally screaming and I love it. What was when you filmed your first episode?
Yeah.
What was the moment when you walked on set the first time? What hit you the hardest?
Jared.
See Jared?
Yeah.
What was it like?
I mean, it was. I think every fan who's gotten to meet any of the cast in person knows what I'm talking about. But it was just you're frozen. Like, you're just frozen for a second because you're just like, you're actually a real human being. Right. Your name is Jared and you play a character named Sam, And but it was really cool because it kind of like, because I'd been on sets before, I've been, you know what I mean? And I've never really worked with actors who I've followed, you know, I remember I got to work with Lawrence Fishburne once, and I was like, the same feeling. I was like,
oh, wow.
you know, because I'm like, I've been on set before. I've seen this scenery before, but now I'm working with people who I'm genuinely, truly a fan of. And that just takes anybody back a second. And then once you get over that, you just go, like, I mean, for me anyways, I just went right into, I want to do the best I could possibly do. I'm going to bring as much of my personal power to this scene. I'm going to bring everything I got. I'm just like, I every time I show up, I just want to be as prepared as I could possibly be, over prepared. And if they don't need it, they don't need it, you know, but ready to kind of throw things on upside down, try things a completely different way. I just want to be ready for just to play, you know? And he was just the nicest guy. Like I say he's the nicest guy, but really that's like, there are no words that really encompass how kind a person he is and how welcoming a person he is. Like, I mean, it's a huge show. They're such a tight knit family, and I feel like I'm one of them. I feel like they've welcomed me in with open arms, and I've worked on a lot of shows, and this is the first time I've ever felt that way, especially considering I'm not there all the time. You know, like it feels like I'm there all the time because the people are so kind and so friendly, and Jared and Jensen headline this thing, and it trickles all the way down, you know, like everybody on that set, on that show, the producers to the directors to the writers, the crew, everyone is just outstanding human beings. And that's the best part for me, is like when everything aligns really well and you're like, I love the work that I'm doing. I love the people I'm doing it with. I feel totally loved, supported, and respected in this arena. And it's just, everything fits so beautifully. And I just love them all, and they're just so great. So my first day, everything was just magic.
Wow. I've heard that also from a lot of other people who have guest starred on the show, that you know, there's just nothing negative that they can say about their experience because everybody is so welcoming and open and treats everyone with respect, and they're like family.
Everyone, you feel like an equal. There's none of that, because on sets, it's so easy to be like, I'm the star, I'm the guest star, I'm the da-da-da. You're like, I'm the principal, I'm the actor, I'm the extra, you know, and there's that hierarchy where you feel less than because you're not in this particular moment, you know, in the position of shining like a star. Not there at all. Not there even a little bit. I feel so lucky to really get to be a part of something as magical as this. And I think that's just, I mean, it's obvious when you see like 12 seasons and counting, you know, that doesn't happen by accident.
That's true. That's true. I mean, there is a reason why it's on for 12 seasons.
Yeah.
And hopefully for more. Hopefully for many more.
Yeah.
Wow. You have a website, theverylive.com. And I love going over to your website because not only does it have such a rich catalog of your work, there are great video clips that show you in all of these, you know, diverse roles. It gives people a really good idea of like what you're capable of, because a lot of people have only seen you as Billy, and if they, you know, check out these clips, they get a whole other, you know, they'll get a well-rounded Lisa Berry experience.
Aw, thank you.
I wanted to say that, and what I wanted to ask you is because another reason why I go to your website regularly is because you write a beautiful blog post.
Thank you.
And, you know, you always write something that's motivating and inspiring. You know, for example, I credit, you know, your blog with helping me get my mindset to, you know, take better care of myself. So about 2 months ago, how long have I been torturing myself? 3 months now, basically. I decided, okay, I'm at the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I mean, I was heavier than when I was 9 months pregnant with this. And I'm like, something's got to change. So I decided to start taking care of myself after reading several of your blog posts. And as of this morning, I've dropped 22 pounds.
I was going to say, you look fantabulous. Like, you look so spectacular. Congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I mean, I think your words, because when I'm reading your words, it's, you know, you write in a way that's very personal, and it's, you know, I can hear you saying these words. So I feel, you know, I take it as a personal connection, and it meant a lot to me. And I wanted to ask you, because I mean, it blew my mind, and it's changed a lot for me. Where do you get the inspiration to write what you write?
You know, I have a tribe of women around me who are just fierce, and they are my rock, my motivation, my inspiration, my loves. Like, I think that's going to be key for anybody to be successful in this life, is to have community around them. It's been scientifically proven that people who have community around them live longer, happy, fuller lives than people who don't. And I really take a lot of those happy tips to heart. And I wasn't going to do it, to be honest. I was so hesitant for such a long time to write my story and to share how I've interpreted the information that I've learned. Because I was just like, nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Like, I'm not Oprah, you know. And then a friend of mine, one of my best friends, she turned to me one day and said, "You've done an amazing job at transforming yourself." Like, she was there for it. She's like, "I remember you when you were 70 pounds heavier. I remember you when you were smoking like a chimney, when you were drinking, when you just weren't taking care of yourself, mind, body, or soul. And now you are like a guru. How did, like, I think that would be helpful." And she really encouraged me, because she said, "Remember all those posts that, you know, that girl you follow who's at your gym, who just motivates you because she's always there and she's always giving it." Yeah. She writes something inspirational. And that time you told me about how she posted something that made you go, "I felt that." And I just needed to hear that. I needed to read that. I needed to see that. And she said, "You don't have to be Oprah to change the world." Because when you get that quote, or when you see that post that makes you feel like things are going to be okay, or that you're not doing as bad as you think you are, or that you're not alone, you don't care if it's coming from Oprah, Tony Robbins. You don't care. You know what I mean? You don't care if it was just a generated post or a commercial. You're just grateful that it was there when you needed that thought, that idea to be presented to you. And she really encouraged me to just write. I was like, "But I'm not a good writer." And she's like, "Maybe not now, but you'll get better, and you'll keep getting better. You just got to keep on keeping on, and it'll get better." And then my writing, and even in my writing, you know, because my fiance is the one who always helps me with the edits at the end, and he in one of the last couple of posts that I wrote, he was just like, "Your writing is getting so clear. Like, I'm able to hear your thoughts. I'm able to hear how you're coming, like, and your personality's really coming out. And it's just like, you don't need as many edits so that the thoughts are clear." And I was just like, cool, thanks, you know. And so in terms of where do I get the motivation from, it's really out of my friends just encouraging me, you know. And I always encourage people. I was like, if you think that you have something that anybody wants, like, that you want to share, then there are people out there who need to hear it, not want to hear it, need to hear it. And nobody is here because of an accident. We all have a purpose. And if that's to touch one life or a million lives, it matters. And so I've really taken that to heart. And even though I'm like, I don't know, like, will anybody care? Does anybody even understand what I'm talking about? I'm always completely blown away by the kindness, the generosity, the sharing, the liking, the positive comments and feedback, that it's just like, I have to keep going now. I have to.
You have a powerful voice, and it resonates with a lot of us.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you, because you did amazing stuff, and you're continuing to do amazing stuff. So
Thank you.
you need to know just how important your words are.
Thank you.
And we have some comments in the chat window. Destiny is saying, yes, Lisa's words are absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
And Raven also says, I actually run a blog site, and I really do aspire to be, excuse me, an amazing blogger, just as Lisa is. Such amazing inspiration and relatable blog posts. That's the other thing too, because everything that you write about is so relatable, and that's why we're able to take it in and internalize it, and why it just speaks to us so much. So
awesome. Yeah, because we're all learning information, but the way that our brains work are also different. So I'm hearing information when I go to a seminar and listen to a motivational speech or watch something that's uplifting to me, and it goes through all of my filters, and then I have my own way of interpreting it, and then I'm able to kind of have my own voice about it. And that's really cool. That's really, really cool to me. So I'm really grateful that people are getting a benefit out of it. I'm so proud of you. That's so fantastic. That's so fantastic.
Thank you. It's been really hard, but you gave me the kick in the butt I needed. So thank you.
Girl.
So I'm looking at my cheat sheet of questions because I can't keep my thoughts straight, especially with this one here. Okay, so what would your dream role be?
This is it.
Yeah. This was
that horrible. Should I have something bigger in my mind? But this is it. I love this character. I think she's outstanding. I think she's got a lot of room to grow. I think she's powerful. She's nondescript, so age doesn't matter, size doesn't matter, color doesn't matter. Like, that's my dream role, is the role where you get to just have a strong intention, and none of the physical stuff matters, that's my dream role, is when it's about who they are. So this is it. This is it. I thought I was so blessed when I got to do Continuum, and I was just like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't even imagine it getting any better. And then I got Supernatural, and I was like, okay, I can die now. I'm good. I'm really, really good. But this is it. This is it. This has been like one of the best characters I've ever gotten to play in film and TV land.
Well, we all feel so strongly that your character needed to happen, and we are so excited to have Billy around. And we want to see a lot more Billy.
Awesome.
We have a question. What would your advice be to someone who wants to start their own journey of self-care?
Start with building one positive habit. And give yourself a year to make it stick. It's funny because that's what I did, because I'm really a slow learner, and I tell myself, I go, it's a lot when I have to eat healthy, exercise, meditate, go for walks, hang out with friends, make sure I'm being social, make sure I pay my bills, all that stuff, be a good girlfriend. That's just a lot. So I said, I need to just start with one thing a year. And I give myself a year because I have the rest of my, hopefully I have the rest of my life. But if I go this year, I'm going to add in water. I'm going to drink enough water every day. And I'm going to do my best to do that every single day. I'm not worried about if I falter on all the other things then, because I got to keep my focus clear so that my mind can stay positive and go, but wasn't your goal just to drink more water? And you're like, yes, it was. Are you drinking more water? Yes, I am. Good girl. You don't need to, it's a way of just stopping the beating up on yourself. And then after that year, you're like, wow, it's actually pretty easy for me to drink more water all the time. Why don't I start meditating 2 minutes every day in the morning and in the night? And then next thing you know, go down 5 years and you've added, now I drink enough water. I meditate every day. I work out all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've added it to the list, and it's that thing that over time they become your new habits. And I mean, you don't have to do a year. You could do 3 months, 6 months. You know what I mean? You could do it however long you want, but give yourself a substantial enough amount of time that it sticks and you're not worried about it. And then move on to the next. Like, make sure you've got that. And I say a year because after a year, it's in me, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just there. But I mean, do one thing at a time. And once that one thing has really stuck, that it's your second nature, add another thing that makes you feel even better, so that you're not overwhelming, because it can be overwhelming to be really positive, because all of a sudden you're confronted with all of these other demons that you didn't realize you had, or all these other limiting beliefs or lies you were telling yourself, and now you're trying to deal with all of it.
And then when you get to that point, it just becomes, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Exactly.
And just focus on one thing
at a time. And once you've mastered that one thing, move on to the next. And then you just get to add it to your bag, and you get to take everything with you as you go on your journey of life, instead of, I was drinking water for a while and then I fell out of that, and I started meditating and I fell out of that. And I was like, let something really become a bona fide practice, a true ritual, a true habit, before you try and add a new one.
Do you find it hard to get back on track if you've had a backslide?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. That's why I give myself a year.
Do you, like, say, for example, like, one of my restrictions on myself right now is, no bread, pasta, starches, that kind of thing. And, I haven't, knock on wood, broken that rule yet. But I know I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So I know once I just say, well, maybe if I just have that one fry, it won't be so bad. I will eat the bag. I will, and it may take me, I don't even know how long before I finally get out of the funk to.
Yeah. What I say whenever that happens, because I know that feeling and I know it well. But when that happens, that's why I'm such a big advocate for self-love and really treating yourself with as much kindness as possible, because we're only here for a limited amount of time. So do you want to hate yourself for the majority of that time, or do you want to love yourself regardless of your shape, size, whatever you're working on? Like, how can you love yourself from right now? And when that happens and you feel like you've fallen off the wagon, so to speak, my thing is fall off the wagon and then start again right away. Like, just start again, be like, okay. And really start looking. And the biggest thing is when that happens is to start going into days. Take it one day at a time, because we bye, honey, because we also get really comfortable in our new patterns, that they kind of start to fall and we don't realize that they've fallen because we're still kind of doing it, and it kind of can blur. So I always like to, for myself, when I feel like it's too much, just go, you only have to worry about today. You really only have to worry about today. So if you had a bag of cookies at lunch, start again. Start again for dinner. Just start again for dinner, because you might not get tomorrow. So finish strong, finish strong, and just be as nice to yourself through the process as possible. And that's the biggest part of any kind of lasting change in anyone's life, is you have to have a positive mindset where you are cheering yourself on. And I was just having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and I said to her, I go, you know what it's like? You know that feeling when you've had a great conversation with a friend and you leave and you're kind of like riding high for a little bit and you're just like, that was awesome. I just had the best time. That's what a conversation in your head should be like with yourself.
Wow.
That's exactly what it should be like. it should feel like that was a really great conversation. So even if you fell off the wagon, so to speak, it's kind of like, man, we fell off and we fell off hard, but we're not losers. We're not quitters. We're just going to try again. And it's like, you know what? We could just start again right now. That happened. And now we get to make a new choice right here, right now. Let's move forward and just say we start again. It's all about one day at a time. And we can do this, and like a little pep talk. And it's like, I felt really weird for a long time being the person who talked to themselves like that until I realized, nope, that's fine. I'd rather seem crazy out to the outside world and feel completely sane on the inside world. So for me, I go, really make that internal dialogue be like a good conversation you just had with your best friend.
That's brilliant. That is really brilliant, because, you know, we spend so much of our time with the when. I will be happy when. I will be satisfied when. And instead of just being in the moment, enjoying and appreciating what you have now, recognizing what you have now, because we have such a huge tendency to only see what we don't have instead of what we do.
Yeah.
And you said something a few moments ago that was really potent. Finish strong. I was a big fan of Monday. Okay, well, I fell off the wagon. Today's Wednesday. Monday's a good day to start again. Oh, today's Monday. I fell off the wagon. That's what next Monday's for. I'll start again next Monday, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I think what everything you said was incredible. You do need to finish strong. If you are not happy, you did something, you fell off the wagon, just pick it right up and keep going.
We'll distill it right down to, hold on a second. Me wanting to throw it all away is me assuming the next week. Get back to, it's about today.
Yeah.
How can I continue to do my best today? Even though, you know, if an athlete's like running a marathon, he's like, I got to walk for a second. The athlete doesn't go call a friend and say, come pick me up. I'm done with the marathon. You just kind of start walking again, and you know what I mean? And then you pick up your stride and you start running again. And you forget all about the last time you had to stop. You just needed a breather. You're human. Like part of being human means we're flawed. You know, and I subscribe to the 4 Agreements, and it's a beautiful book, and it talks all about, let me get the name of it, because it's a really beautiful book. And I listen to it on audiobook all the time because it just keeps me sane. And it's by Peter Coyote.
Oh.
And it's the 4 Agreements, and it's a personal guide to personal freedom. And the 4 Agreements are basically be impeccable with your word. And it's so much easier said than done, but it's be impeccable poorly of yourself or others or the situation. Don't take anything personally. Everybody's living their own lives for themselves. So really don't take it personally. That just saves you so much suffering. Don't assume anything, which means start asking a lot of questions. Ask as many questions as you can, so you're not sitting there being like, but I thought you said, and you told me, and da-da-da, and it was like, that's where, and then everybody's taking everything personal. Oh my God. And then the last thing, which really helps put it all together, and why this is my mantra, and I wake up to it and I go to bed to it, is do your best, which will vary from day to day. Just like when you're working out, you know this, you've been on that track. So when you're working out, some days you get up and you're like, boom, I got energy. And then there are other, like, I really feel like someone put lead in my shoes and told me to work out. You know? So I really love that you've got these agreements that you make with yourself, and they really do help call you out on all the times you take things personally, all the times you're assuming things, all the times you're slandering yourself or others. You really do catch it, because if you're conscious of, I'm going to wake up in the morning and today I am going to be impeccable with my word. I am going to not take anything personally. I'm not going to assume anything about anybody else. And I'm going to do my best to keep these in mind as I walk through the day. It's all you can do. And for me, peace. Just peace.
Wow.
And I'm an actor.
So
You
this
know,
is what,
to let go of the drama of the crazy that can happen in an actor. When am I going to work again? Am I going to work again? Do they like me? Do they not like me? Why didn't I get it? Why didn't I get an audition? When did I get the part? When am I going to work again?
oh,
Peace.
that's amazing, because I've spoken to a friend of mine who's a former actor, and he was telling me that the audition process is probably one of the most demeaning experiences, you know, that actors go through. And, you know, it's very hard not to take things personally. So to have the skill set that you have in terms of, you know, applying the 4 agreements, you know, it takes skill to also to remember to apply what you've read too, because it's one thing to read it and to, you know, yeah, I like that. That's great. And then it's a whole other level to actually be able to incorporate it and apply it.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you're zen.
I breathe a lot. I breathe a lot. You know, when I was driving across the country and our car overheated in the desert and all the engine lights and everything started coming on, and I immediately thought to myself, you know, unless God had a really good reason for stranding me on the side of the road in the middle of the desert, he's not going to do that. And I have faith in his will. And if he wants me to be on the side of the road, it will be for a very good reason. And the lesson will be clear, and it will grow, and I will grow and be an even more expanded, beautiful being because of it. And I'm ready for, if that's my fate, that's my fate. It was not my fate, which I really, really do love. But what was presented to me was how abundant I am, how taken care of I am by my angels, the spirit guides around me. And I believe in all of that stuff. Hence, I watch Supernatural. And I really do think that the more you cultivate a spiritual practice with you and whatever else, whether that's source, universe, God, Allah, anything, I don't care. When you, and Oprah says this, lots of inspirational people say this, if you are looking to you to be the thing to make everything in your life happen, you will be disappointed, because you are only human. And there is a whole bigger force that can turn an acorn into an oak tree. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like there is in turn, baby, you know what I mean? Like there's just a bigger force happening out there that you're like, we can't even explain it, but it is. We can't even explain it. How does a seed turn into, do you know what I mean? Like how's all that information is contained in a seed, and then it comes out of that seed when you put water on it. Like that's it? How does that? And so there obviously is a magic that's happening in the world, I feel. And to tap into that magic and sit in a place where you go, I'm at least acknowledging it once a day, of saying, I acknowledge that there's a higher power out there and its focus and gaze is on me in a positive way, I think opens you up. I really do. I really think it opens you up to something wonderful coming into your life, because that's the magical moments, right?
Absolutely.
Prizes in life.
That's, you know, you just knocked me on my butt again with the acorn to an oak tree analogy. I mean, and also if you want to think about it, we all are connected. We're made of the same particles that created the stars and the planets, you know? And when you think about that, how can you not open yourself up?
Yeah.
Right.
Just something that you believe in that's greater than yourself, something that you can call on and say, I'm feeling less than right now. Can you just give, and when I pray, I say thank you. I actually don't ask for anything anymore. I used to be like, give me the strength to, and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, thank you for the peace that you've sent me already. Thank you for every moment of silence. Thank you for every moment of stillness. Thank you for all of every time you've given me a breath that let me feel a little bit at peace. Thank you for that. Because even in the crying of the, you know, you find one breath where you can actually get a full gulp of air.
Yes.
And that's what I say thank you for. That's what I use my prayer for. I use my prayer for that time to say, you know, I know you've already given me, and I'm just grateful for what you've already given me. because a lot of times we're just like, I need more strength. And you're like, well, what you've been given is enough. So say thank you for what you've already got. And that's a practice I really like to cultivate of like, well, what has shown up? Get on board with your life and say thank you. And say thank you. If you're like, I wanted a Porsche and they sent me a Toyota, say thank you. Say thank you. You know, because at a certain point, you kind of got to ask yourself, do I always want to be hating what shows up? Or do I want to see the beauty that can be in the thing that does show up?
Right.
You know, who knows, right? You're just like, oh, but I wanted this. And you're like, but everything is in that as well that you could have possibly wanted in that other thing. It's in this as well. You just have to look for it. And that's all we're ever doing, I feel, in life is like, how can I make the best out of everything that shows up? And like,
I need to invite you over after Christmas when the kids have opened for gifts. And give them that talk.
that is the time. That is usually the time to do it.
Exactly. Okay. Here comes Lisa. She's going to give you the talk. We're good.
I know you wanted the trip to Disney, but Malibu Barbie showed up. How are we going to make this work?
Exactly.
Imagination, imagination, imagination. This couch is now a ride at Disney World.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. I'm good with that. I was that kid because we didn't have a lot of money when we were growing up. So toys were non-existent. And I was the kid who was like, well, I'm going to make a helicopter out of this paperclip and piece of string I got. So let's make it work. I was that kid. Boxes, anything. I was that kid.
You know, it's really something because the most positive people that I meet had come from such hard and desperate challenges growing up. And they are the most positive, brilliant, shining people as adults.
Yeah, it's not always that way, but usually.
my experience, I mean,
yeah,
I've been fortunate.
Mine as well.
That in my experience, I've been a lot of people that I've met in difficult childhood situations have become the most positive, inspiring adults, and they have just amazing wisdom to share, which brings me to my final words of wisdom question. Do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to impart with us?
We've had such a great time talking. That's, final words. I don't know if they're words of wisdom, but final words are love yourself, and love yourself a whole lot more than that. Just if you can love yourself even more today, do it.
Wow.
If you can show yourself even more kindness today, do it. You know, because it'll only cultivate a sense of compassion for other people. And I really do feel like when you can truly feel compassion for somebody else, you're alive. Everyone is a mirror to us. So a lot of times when people are like, oh, I hate it when they do that, I go, you're really calling out something you hate that you do. You know, not to get too deep, but you know, especially like our romantic partners, biggest mirror, you know, gigantic mirror. But they really do shine a light on us. So the more you can do for them that you wish that they could do for you, the more that will be done to you, I think. You know, and my best friend's really good at asking me that anytime I have like a relationship thing, and she's just like, can you do what he's not able to do for you right now? You're like, you want him to pay a little bit more attention to you. Can you show yourself that love right now? No. Can you do that? And I'm always like, oh, why do you have to be so zen? I just want to be pissed. And she's like, it's either be right or be happy. And I will always choose to be happy. Like I used to lose years, months even, if I didn't get a part. I remember losing an entire summer. I was just miserable. And I was like, ugh, the whole summer is ruined. I didn't get the part. And every day I would talk about how upset I was, how unfair it was, how I couldn't understand it. And I felt like I just took everything super personal to go. But now I won't even let a whole day go by. It's just not worth it. There's no way. There's just no way. Like I'll go through, you know, flashes of anger or sadness or moments of you know, loneliness or whatever. But it's just hardwired into me now because I've done the practice that I have done for me, that I'll never lose a whole day to anger, depression, sadness, loneliness. It just won't happen. Because I have cultivated so much of that love within myself that there's too much of it around me that it's kind of like, so you're going to ignore your best friend who's trying to call you and take you out for dinner because she knows that you had a bad day. And you're just like, nope, I'm going to let her take me out for dinner. You know, I'm going to let her cheer me up. Like, and part of getting over our sadness is saying, I'm going to let, you know, people help me. Because sometimes someone's like, let me cheer you up. And you're like, no, I want to sit. Brute. It's the only way it's ever going to really heal. And you're just kind of like, really? And I've got really great friends like that. So my words of wisdom are love yourself, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Just keep loving yourself. And you'll see that beauty is born out of that for yourself and others.
Wow. That's very potent. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
And I want to thank you so much for, you know, spending some more time with us. And as always, this was such an amazing time. I love speaking with you. We're getting so much love in the chat room. You know, so much praise going on. And Destiny wanted to say that she's been loving the post. Where'd it go? Okay, via Black Girl's Guide to the Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm working on with my dear high priestess friend Ngozi Paul, who is a talent and a fierce and a force, and you will absolutely get to know her as well. And Black Girl's Guide is just us. Our sole mission is how much fun can we have and how much fun can we share.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that. Well, I want to say thank you again. It was so awesome talking to you, and we do hope that we see a lot more Billy. We need more Billy. We need Billy kicking people's asses. And I feel zen, actually.
I know. I feel so right. This is how we should be in our heads all the time. Like you just had a really great conversation with somebody, and you're like, "Oh, what do I want to do now?" Right? It's that feeling.
I'm gonna go chill. I'm gonna enjoy my thoughts for a while. This has been awesome. Okay, well, I want to say bye to everybody and thank you for watching. And tune in next week. And thank you again. And we are going off the air. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.